it's still disappointing.
Yeah.
That the two countries can't find each other
Yeah.
for the sake of cricket.
Yeah.
Because it's very difficult for me. I don't even know potentially where the final will be held.
Yeah.
If India are in the final, and Pakistan
are in the
final,
what
the
happens
final
then?
is going to be outside of Pakistan.
Happy 2025. Welcome back to the All Rounders podcast. We are happy to be back. We are happy to be back. Myself, to cover. And of course, Nono Pongolo.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
nice,
Happy
nice.
New Year. We've got so much to catch up on.
So much. So much has happened in this last, I'm going to say, last couple of months because we are into Feb.
Yeah. Are you buying? Are you buying anything for anyone?
I'm buying something for myself.
Okay. Love yourself.
For you.
Well, love yourself.
For you, maybe.
No, none of that. Not this month.
Not this month.
Not this month. No.
Or maybe not. You've seen
not this month.
Okay.
Maybe in other months to come. Not this month. No, it's good to see you.
You too.
Yeah, it's been quite a while. I mean, we've obviously come through the December period, and now January. There's a lot that has happened throughout that December and January period. Maybe we can go back and recap and how South Africa did in the World Test Championship cycle. Booked a place at Lords. Hashtag Isikosa at Lords. Yes, please. Hashtag.
Wrong platform.
But it's a great achievement, isn't it, Nons? People obviously spoke about how South Africa never really played some of the big nations in this cycle. But it's a non-consequential thing for us because a test match win is a test match win, and going to a test match final is a great achievement.
100%. I think the first thing I'm going to do before I use my energy for the haters is to start by saying congratulations to the test side. I think South Africa right now, there is semi-finals that are currently just been made, in the last couple of years, which is really exciting for South African cricket. And of course, the test side, to say since Graeme Smith winning that mace and retaining it and keeping it for a while, probably that's been the peak of South Africa's test side when it comes to, that format. And to have qualified now with this ICC, I think it's the third
cycle now.
Of it to be part of a final playing against Australia. It's a good reward for the gents. I think when you probably before Bangladesh, I don't necessarily think a lot of people thought it was possible. But that
West Indies,
Bangladesh away from home, those two important wins. And I think that's when the belief, you kind of felt that they started thinking it is possible. Now I'm going to use my energy for the haters and the negativity. When ICC brought out the World Test, the FTP, Future Test
Tours.
No one kind of argued about the matches South Africa was going to be playing. We knew what the format was. We knew how many points on offer, etc. No one cared. England, India play as many matches as they want. But the nice part about this format is that the maximum amount of points remains the same.
For everyone.
No matter if you play 10 matches in a series between you and Australia and England, whatever. And the guys obviously that play two test series. You might feel it's beneficial if you do win obviously those matches because it's a shorter series. But it's not something that is in control. South Africa is in control of. The big three have been in control for a while. And you take what's in front of you. And I think Shukri Conrad and the team did exactly that. So Michael Vaughan and the rest, I'm sure.
Sharp. But I also think, like for me, maybe to sum it up as well, the fact that we went to the West Indies, we went to Bangladesh, came away with series wins there. Bangladesh is not an easy place to go and get a test match win. Let alone a 2-0 test series win in Bangladesh. So I think from a skill point of view, I mean, Tony got a big 100 in Bangladesh. There were guys, I mean, Verena got big hundreds.
Mutusami 50,
Vian got 100. So there's a lot of great positives from a batting point of view in South Africa. Demons that we probably wouldn't have conquered in the past with this kind of inexperienced side, if I can put it like that. So it was great to see great performances throughout the World Test Championship cycle, and then of course finishing it off with Sri Lanka and Pakistan wins here at home was fantastic. A lot of people spoke about that Sri Lanka Test series, saying why do we go to the coastal venues? And I always thought at the back of my mind we should be good enough to beat Sri Lanka anyway, whether we play them on the high veld. I know. Pereira. But I understand it. I understood the logic why people were saying, why do you take Sri Lanka to the coastal venues where it is spin friendly? But at the top of my mind, or the back of my mind, I was like, we just come from Bangladesh. Guys have picked up a skill to be able to combat spin, and it showed against Sri Lanka in that series. I mean, a guy like Prabhat Jayasuriya is really good, but he was ineffective in Durban. He was ineffective in PE, and we ended up winning both those test matches through pure skill, and really doing well.
If I can add one more thing, is I think we've had batting issues for a while in our test side, and I think Shuki Conrad's Wisdom Coach of the Year. That's another feather in his cap for a great year. I think the amount of hundreds now that have been scored by the team, and some of the stuff that we see on social media, passing it on, the guy that scored 100 previously, passing it on to the next guy, kind of giving that award to the next guy. Those are small cultural things that are important within a side. And a guy, of course, taking a fifer, passing it on to the next guy. Those are really important cultural things of motivating each other within the side. Like, I want to be the next guy to score 100 type of thing. And I think it was about 13 in the end. By the end of the 1300s that were scored within this year, batting line, or within the season, which is really, really a positive. Would like to see more consistency from our top order in terms of more hundreds. The way Ryan Rickleton finished the year with that 200 at Newlands, really special. So that's what is exciting to me, to see how this team has developed over time. And again, we must give the coach a bit of credit where every time he's made a change.
It's worked.
A guy has literally taken the chance. Corbin Bosch on debut literally helps South Africa with the 80 and then takes a 4-5. Rickleton coming back, doing well. And it's been really good to see Muthusamy in Bangladesh being given an opportunity. And the confidence of Vaughan now, you can see since that 100, you feel like now maybe there's that sense that
I can
finally, I really do belong at this level. So these are the things that have been important, really developing players. And I think, again, the coach kind of sets the tone in terms of giving the players the freedom and the confidence to express themselves. And because sometimes it felt that a lot of the players were kind of playing for their positions in their side for too long. Every game, I need to do something. I need to do something. So hopefully we'll keep our fingers crossed, because hashtag it's a closer commentary at Lords. Go join. They can really pull it off. I know we've been a bridesmaid of late. We've never been the bride. It's important for us to just finally get over that.
I remember us sitting here, the one episode, and we were speaking about how South Africa were really doing well in terms of getting to finals and semi-finals, and we didn't want to end up. We kind of used New Zealand as an example of, getting there and not really winning it, and having this golden generation of cricketers doing really well at major events. We feel like between the 11th and the 15th of June, that's our biggest opportunity to win something of note.
You know what? All our finals, it hasn't been easy. Because, we play in the mighty Australia, who've previously won it as well.
Defending champions.
Defending champions. The under-19, they played India. We played India. Like, it's literally hasn't been easy. But the biggest thing, maybe to some of the Arsenal supporters around here, is that you cannot win anything that you are not in it. In order for you to win a trophy, you must be in the final. And I think that's what we got to take. Yes, we'll all love to win.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're like the Springboks. Every time the Springboks get into a final, they win.
Yeah.
And what's important now is that, yes, we would like to win this tournament when we get into these finals.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it hasn't gone our way.
Yeah.
But the fact that now we've gone past that hurdle of
semi-finals.
Now we're getting ourselves consistently
into finals.
There's a positive there.
Yeah.
How these players handle these big moments.
Yeah.
Maybe that's something that needs to be studied. And can we improve? Are the routines remaining the same, or are we, that pre-match?
A final is a final. Like, it's a big day. It's a major day. It can't be the same as
100%
a league game.
And also this thing of Gucci, no, it's just another day. It's a final. It's a big occasion.
Yeah.
And again, for Arsenal supporters, I'm sure you're not used to that.
Why you keep on referencing Arsenal?
There's a guy there. I'm slowly I'm working in
it. Yeah.
So I think there's plenty to be happy about. And I think as a country, I think we should be proud. And I think you might feel it's a matter of time before, and then there might be a succession of wins as well.
Yeah. 11 to 15 June, Lord's Cricket Ground. Tickets are out already. So
isn't it also close to being sold out already?
Yeah, very close to being sold out. So if you can get yourself a ticket or two to attend the World Test Championship final at Lord's between the 11th and the 15th, it will be a great occasion.
Yeah.
We are going to try and get there as well.
Hashtag Explosive Commentary.
Help us get there. Hashtag
and the all-rounders, of course. Because when we are there, we're doing two jobs.
Exactly.
2 in 1. It's first and it's last.
So yeah, that's going to be a great spectacle. But there's a lot of other cricket that's going on. SA20 is in the final stages of the competition, season 3, and much of the talk in season 3 has been about how few the games have been in terms of their closeness. We've seen first season, second season, really good games, high scores, close games, over 200 consistently over the past 2 seasons. But this season, we've probably only seen, teams cross 200 mark probably 3 times this season or twice, which has been a big talking point from fans and cricket lovers across the country about whether this season has been as good as the first 2 seasons. We've got an opinion about it, and we think, or I think, that sometimes the bowlers tournament is also okay. Sometimes the bowlers tournament is okay.
100%.
Like it's not a train smash.
So we're complaining about 170 to about 150. On occasion it's like been a couple of low score hundreds and all that stuff. But generally, let's say it's been between 140 to about 170.
Yeah.
Which is, why is it a 7 runs and over to 9 and over?
Yeah.
8 and over.
It's a fair game.
It's a fair game. It's a fair contest. Someone has to bowl really well, and someone has to find a way to bat well to get themselves there.
Yeah.
And some teams have fallen short of that. But I think we are in that generation. People need to be highly entertained. All the time. For me, the best ground, I always say this, is SuperSport.
Yeah.
But at the same time, as much as it is entertaining for the public and for the fans, it is not a nice contest for the bowlers because it's literally rocking up. It's throwdowns. I mean, 220 is basically par score there because it could be chased down. And I don't believe those are it's the metrics you could use to judge how good a game is.
Or good a season is.
Good a season is. I agree with that. But in terms of quality, you would say, like the teams that have bought well. There's a reason why, for me, I still say Joe Root has been the signing of the season. Because the way he has played at Paul, for me, let alone on the
everywhere
road,
else,
Paul has been the most difficult venue for me. And there was a game he was striking at 140 in Paul, one tough wicket. And I remember he had like 13 dots. I was like, 140 strike rate in Paul really sums up how good this guy is. And of course, the job that he's done for Luandri Pretorius. But I think that's what this season is. It's the teams that have bought well. Reza Hendricks is another where JSK wasn't great.
Yeah.
I questioned why he was going there because I didn't know if they were going to use Reza Hendricks and Rickleton or was it going to continue with Rassie van der Dussen.
At
but
the top of
Reza
the order,
at 3, all of a sudden has come alive.
Yeah.
And he's also been having a fantastic tournament. That top 3 is deadly.
Yeah.
So Paul Rose at home, amazing.
Yeah.
So that's what for me is cricket is about.
Yeah.
It's not just about 200s.
Yeah.
It's about finding a balance. And I think the teams have had balanced squad and have done well at home. Really have played well. But one more thing, weather hasn't been easy.
Yes.
There was a period where in Cape Town, 40 plus degrees or high 50s.
That December period.
Yeah, it was early Jan, mid-Jan, whatever. It's been hot. In the high fault, it's been a lot of rain.
Yeah.
And if it rains, there's a lot of moisture.
Yeah.
There's a lot of moisture. I mean, for groundsmen, it's hard to kind of prepare a flat track when it's underneath. There's a lot of moisture. So there's those things that you got to take, which then requires Opila, when he's opening the batting, to use his brain to say, as much as I want to get 70 runs in the power play, today it might be a 45 to a 50. It's still a good start.
As long as I don't lose my wicket.
100%. How many teams have we seen this tournament where they're four down?
4 down in the power
3
play.
down. I think there's a stat.
Yeah.
You generally win 15% of games if you are 4 down in a power play. Already you're back foot. You're at war. And if you don't have the right balance in your side, most teams have already been blown away. So those are the elements I think have played a part. I think the weather has been massive, especially in the high field.
I think that's a great point, because I mean we sit and watch these kind of things and kind of trying to follow trends about why people are struggling or why teams are doing well. And I think the weather part has been significant in how the pitches have performed and played this season. Obviously, there's a need to relay them ahead of the 2027 Cricket World Cup.
Which is going to happen.
Which is going to happen. Yeah. But in the interim, this competition, particularly, it's been particularly harder for batters to actually play their natural game. But also, it requires skill. I mean, you speak about Joe Root, who's probably the most skillful batsman in the world.
100% has been this tournament has been
he showed skill, so that's and the point that you make about adaptability. Whenever you have bat in hand, going to bat in different conditions, we already know Paul's going to play the way that Paul's going to play. It's not going to change. It's not going to change. 5 spinners, 20 overs. You got to find a way. You got to find a way to strike at 140, which Joe Root has been able to do consistently at par. First team to go to win all 5 games in the history of the Betway SA20. And my Cape Town did it also this past weekend, but Paul were the first ones to do it. So you have to find a way, and it's a great lesson for our local batters as well, to be able to find a way to make runs in difficult conditions where it doesn't naturally favor them. And I think that's the takeaway for 100%. Me this season, is that how our local batters have been able to, or lack thereof, to sort of adapt to the conditions that are faced.
I 100% agree with that. I think that's what now stands out, is that when conditions are tough, what options do you have? And do you trust those options? And still being ruthless in the areas that you recognize. And I think David Miller is another guy who's had a decent tournament. But like, for example, in the Paul Rose side, one of the best players, I believe, in South Africa, who, like Mitchell van Buren, struggled this year. And strike rate is under 100.
97 or 96.
When someone I thought, it's a great move to be playing in Paul, those conditions. So you kind of see the level or the difference in class. But that's some of the guys that I believe can obviously learn. But it still goes back to the signing. I mean, Crawley at Sunrise's Eastern Cape.
Doesn't make sense.
They ended up replacing him with Tony Zozi. Yes, in the past, when they won the first competition, they had Rosington. The second season, it was Jordan.
And David Malan.
So it's important, I think, teams really think about their recruitment again, because I feel at times this SA20, a lot of the teams tend to back a lot of the outside guys way more than they back. I mean, currently in South Africa, we've got, I was seeing Rulofson. He's not playing. Temba is not playing. These are the guys who could have been decent in these current conditions. They could have found a way to score runs, being familiar in South Africa. Whereas O'Croll is not like he's set the world on fire in T20 cricket for us to be really backing him the way we have. And of course, it would have had a net benefit for South African cricket as well. So I just think some of the teams really do need to think about the recruitment, because some of the teams, which has been interesting, but the one part I love about PAL, by the way, is that when you're playing in PAL, once you get used to those conditions obviously as a home side, it becomes quite difficult for anyone who's coming there to play in those conditions. They have to adjust, right? And it's easy for a player in PAL to go to Super Sport Park
and adjust
because it's
normal.
It's normal. So that's where now that home advantage and recruiting plays a part, because you need to recruit players that can play 5 games at home. Whereas now you think about Pretoria Capitals. Not only they have to recruit well, but anyone can play in those conditions. So now you have
to think of when you go away from these.
So not only it puts them under pressure to win at home, because basically it's anyone who basically outskills the other on the day. And then now you also need to find ways to
go
win
to PE,
away from home.
Go to Durban.
100%. So it kind of makes things difficult there. So that's where I feel for the Highveld team sometimes might have to be a bit smarter in terms of how they recruit, considering that everyone loves coming to the Highveld team.
It's going to be a massive mega auction also this year, because there's going to be a clean out in a lot of franchises.
Coaches are going to go.
Coaches are going to go.
Coaches are going to go.
Players are going to go. We're going to see probably a whole new set of squads for 2026, I think it is. 2025, because it starts on Boxing Day.
December.
It'll start. That's also a very smart plan to move that SA20 window into the December, because there aren't any international cricket. You know, so I think that'll be great. It'll also be, I think it'll be bigger. Season 4 is going to be bigger.
Definitely, because it's that holiday period.
It's going to be massive.
Holiday period. Is there any way to expand the stadiums?
Because it's going to be massive. They're going to have to build like temporary stands. At the duck pond, build there at the duck pond. But it's going to be massive. Like I think that's also a smart move from the tournament organizers to. Along with CSA as well, cash in on that period. You know,
it's going to be interesting, I think, for us though, because I don't think we've ever had a tournament that overlaps in the following year. We might end up having like the Big Bash. We're having a match literally on New Year's Day. Possibly, which would be great. Would be cool. So obviously, for you, by the way, where are your stand-up players? Stand-up bowlers.
I think for me, Lutho Sipamla has been the obvious for many reasons, but also just the fact that he's come into the competition late. We would have understood that the first season he was injured. He was out with a back injury for a lot of that first season of the SA20. Didn't get picked up in the auction for season 2. Didn't get picked up in the auction in season 3. Came in as a replacement. And he's 13 wickets or 14 wickets or something. 12.
Zard and Andre, all injured.
Mapiza,
Buren.
So he's had to really be patient and wait his turn. But for me, it's one of those decisions where I didn't understand that. How can you have an international quality bowler in the like of Lutho Sipamla not picked up at an auction? He's just played international cricket. He's just had a really great domestic T20 competition here in South Africa. It makes no sense how a bowler of that quality that ticks all the boxes doesn't get picked.
That's why I say at times I feel like a 50-50, not even a 50-50, falls to an international guy. And you rather take a guy that is like you've seen, but is not like a world beater in the international stage. You bring him in this tournament for the sake of having an international player. Whereas we can still back a South African player. Like you said, he's represented the country as well. And we've seen him in finals stand up and take fivers, be man of the match in big moments. And he's really set himself up to be a big part in the next auction. And again, I think it's well deserved to come in backdoor of a tournament, straight first game he was
straight
playing.
in.
And all of a sudden he's become one of Fav's bankers in this Joburg Super Kings side. So really happy for him. And there's many more guys for me, I believe. I mean, I mentioned Lux, Temba, Rulofsson, the guys that are sitting outside in this tournament who could really make a difference in this tournament. So,
So for sure, Luto. For sure, Ryan. I think Briggs.
Continues, back to back.
I think if there's a transfer window, the negotiation between Western Province and Lions, it's going to be so...
Rickleton, I think, is in love with Cape Town.
He just loves Cape Town. There's something about Cape Town and Ryan Rickleton.
If you see his posts as well.
He's always at the beach.
He's at the beach.
He's always at the beach. He's there in the mountain regions. He loves Cape Town. I think
Jono's not going to be happy with our...
no.
Jono's not going to be
But maybe, Jono, for the sake of, like, maybe the country, let the guy go play in the conditions that he loves.
He loves all the surrounding conditions.
He loves all the surrounding.
But I'm just saying, he just looks like
he fits there.
He's at home.
He fits there. So he's been. I mean, he's continued from season 2 as well.
He's leading run scorers. It was him and Clausen last year. And obviously back end of that Test championship match. At Newlands, and then he's carried on with a good form. I think obviously we can't not mention Luandre. I think we saw the talent at the Under-19 World Cup, and I think he just went, when he joined the Titans side, obviously bought himself some time there, and then when we saw glimpses in the T20 challenge, and he's just come alive in this SA20.
First game, literally first game.
And it's so exciting. I mean, there was a tweet from Ben Stokes as well. It was like, basically, that's what these tournaments are about. And I think possibly, we were wondering who could replace Quinton de Kock in the future. And it just shows you how these things sometimes can... His hero is Quinton de Kock. Remember when he was batting one of the games, Quinny keeping, he just said like how special of a moment it was for him to be in the same game with his hero and similar. And all of a sudden, South Africa, you feel him and Rickleton are the possible... opening partners, because I mean, we're still looking at 2026 T20 World Cup. Even Brevis is coming alive again. So those three for me, I think they've been really good. I'm not going to count the Afghanistan guys because they've been special. Noor, Mujib. I see it's amazing.
No idea.
But again, I think that's a skill set that spending time with these guys will learn, and hopefully with time, these guys will develop.
Eventual champions. I feel it's tough not to look at the Sunrisers Eastern Cape for me because
Eastern Cape guys.
No, it's not even a patriotic Eastern Cape thing for me. It's like for a side like that, you can't let them through the back door.
Well, okay,
they've got championship experience.
Yes.
This is their time now to actually peak. For the sides to actually give them 3 consecutive bonus points in a row in the league phase after starting so badly.
3 losses.
Three losses on the bounce at the beginning of the tournament. And then came back, won, I think, with 3 bonus points in a row, 4 games in a row.
They went from...
all the way to number 2 on the log, and then they let it slip a little bit after that, but still did enough to get themselves in that top 4.
So I remember having this chat with Coach Adrian Burrow. He's never won the tournament with winning the first game. So he's almost got this belief, but if he wins the first game, he's like, this tournament, might as well close it down because we're not going to win it. So that's including his work with Hampshire as well. He's had that type of a record, right? But what, like you said, you can't take away the pedigree of Sunrisers Eastern Cape because they've won it twice. But the biggest difference for me this year, their batting is not the same.
It's not.
Their batting is not the same. But, like you said, because you're coming to the championship rounds, as you call it, that's when that experience comes out. We've been there, we've done it, we'll find a way. But I think it's been clear they have an issue at the top. The opening partnership has not worked this season. And I think, again, a player that I really enjoyed last year, the Englishman last year, hasn't really started.
Tom Abel.
Abel this year hasn't had the form that helped the team because, again, he's similar to Root. He plays good cricket shots. He gets good value. Kind of is the glue of that side. And then the likes of Klaassen or Markram. Klaassen, sorry. I said, I wanted to say all round Janssen. These are the guys that have used that platform, batting with someone and really explode. So they haven't had that. And even the numbers suggest that they've actually got the lowest run rate in all the tournaments in terms of obviously their batting performance. But
their bowling has carried them.
The bowling. Gleeson for me is another guy that's been fantastic. Of course, Batman, Marco Jansen. These are the guys that really have helped Sunrisers Eastern Cape to have found themselves in the back end of the tournament. But their batting, it really needs to come alive. But they are playing. So like the playoffs matches, obviously starting on Tuesday, you got MI Cape Town playing Paul Royals in Gqeberha. Which is two coastal sides playing in a neutral venue. I like that, by the way. I know a lot of people might be asking, why couldn't have one of them
they reward them for playing, doing well?
You know, but like I like these preset, venues. And of course, then the eliminator is Joburg Super Kings and Sunrise Eastern Cape.
Centurion.
So the team that wins and the team that wins goes straight to the final, and then the loser gets another qualifier two, which is also great for me, rewarding the teams that were consistent in the tournament, finishing at the top. So it's going to be an exciting week, but Sunrisers Eastern Cape.
Who is your eventual champion?
I went on a 5-minute, not trying to answer this question.
Great points, though, by the way. Great points.
I feel it's MI's tournament to lose.
MI,
to lose.
I get it.
They've been the most consistent side. They've got the most balanced side. They've got the best bowling unit because, again,
all conditions.
They've conceded the least amount of runs or the lowest run rate against the bowling attack. And Rashid Khan coming in this tournament or peaking at the right time. Can't forget the Rolls Royce, KG Rabata. Kagiso Rabata.
Boshi's been really good as well.
Trent Bolt. So they've got the balance. Malindrish. George Limbe. So they've got a really strong side. Paul Royals, the biggest question mark.
Can they do it away?
Can you replace Joe Root?
Can you replace Joe? Yeah. I mean, they've brought in Mitch Owen, who, I mean, is obviously untested outside of Australia. I mean, he's only played Big Bash cricket. This is his first contract outside of Australian league cricket. So that's going to be an interesting thing for me. Is that, I don't think Paul really thought that Joe Root would be the player that he was this tournament. Therefore, it was going to be so difficult to replace him once they obviously knew that he was going to go away to India to play those one-day internationals against India. But now it becomes such a difficult player to replace after doing so well in the league phase and really being the cornerstone of great performances away and at home for the Power Royals. So that's going to be an issue for the Power Royals. Can they do it away? They've also lost two of the last two.
You're going to the playoffs with a bad run of two losses.
Bad run of league form at the back end of the league. So that's going to be another thing for me. I think is going to count against them. But an MI Cape Town versus Sunrisers Eastern Cape final is going to be great.
Of course.
We're not
can't help itself.
It's not
when
even.
In doubt, Eastern Cape.
It's not even. We spoke about MI Cape Town's bowling and how great it is and how balanced it is because they've got almost everything: left arm spin, leg spin. They've got left arm seam, quick pace bowlers in KG and Corbin Bosch. But I think for me, the differentiator for the Sunrisers Eastern Cape is the tallness of their bowlers. They've got Jansen, Gleeson,
Bartman is shorter,
and Overton.
Oh, Craig. Yeah. That was the other
Craig,
one.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And Overton. 3 really tall guys that could make a hell of a difference when they come to play in the high field.
So, yeah, depending on where they finish in the first game, first qualifier. Yes, I agree. Potentially, if it's a Wanderers final, that could come into play. One thing I want to say, Mitchell Owen, if the playoff wasn't Paul, he could have struggled.
Yes.
Because of the conditions not being familiar.
Yeah.
One thing Paul Royals might get away with is the fact that none of the games now
are in par,
which obviously was the skill set of Joe Root. Yes, he can play in any conditions, but that was what made Joe Root really special, right? So now in Gqeberha, I believe is also one of the most improved grounds in the country. As an Australian, if he can, because it's quite true, he can, if it's a fresh wicket, he will be able to adapt to that. But the only thing that I'll say differently is that he's naturally also aggressive.
Yeah.
And you've also got
Pretorius,
where Joe Root was a good foil for Pretorius. He will give him the strike. He will basically allow the kid to kind of run with it. Yeah. And then if he's now out, then he will take over.
Yeah.
And right now, how do you then balance if guys are both want to be on strike? And you can lose rhythm. With that, where Luandre now hasn't been on strike for a couple of balls, even though it's going well. And then when he gets on strike, he also wants to kind of go. So that's going to be interesting how that dynamic will balance out, because I think Joe Root was amazing for Luandre. And then, of course, there's 2 coastal ground teams playing in the coastal, which will be fine. The second one is JSK versus Sunrise Eastern Cape at Centurion. Yeah. And I don't think JSK have done well. It's Centurion as well. Their record against Pretoria Captors, I don't think it's a great one. Away. So it really does bring Sunrise Eastern Cape back into the contest, especially their batters who would certainly Markram is at home. Stubbs is obviously a quality South African player. Jansen, if the platform is set with those levers at Supersport Park and hit it.
Herman now of late.
Herman also comes from Pretoria. So that could be interesting to see. Yeah, I do see Sunrisers now, but maybe Lutos Pamela. If it was Crowley, Lutos Pamela was going to be all over Crowley.
I've done a great job convincing you.
No. If it makes sense, it makes sense.
Exactly. You see. So, okay, eventual champions for me, Sunrisers Eastern Cape.
I don't want a Farmers League.
Okay, you don't want
I do not
repeat.
Want
you don't want to say
I want a different win.
Okay.
I do not. I know you guys are not used to winning trophies. You're not used to winning trophies. So all of a sudden it's Funa's on. Because no worries. Domingo was still coach.
Why do you have to?
No, it's just the truth.
It is the truth, but you have to go there.
So now all of a sudden, just
every SA20 trophy must.
No. I don't want the Farmers League. You must either go Cape Town or the Western Cape.
Yeah.
I think the people of Paarl actually
deserve something.
Okay. Because they're also awesome down there. But I think the best 2 teams at the moment is between the top 2.
Okay.
Joburg Super Kings. Yeah, Faf might have to do some serious work to pull that rabbit.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Let's move on from SA20 because there's other World Cup stuff that happened. Under-19s obviously lost to India in that Women's Under-19 T20 World Cup final in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Difficult tournament because of conditions. I mean, I was there for the initial part of... I didn't know what I have to say there. But obviously being there for the initial group stages of the tournament, where conditions are really difficult. Like it rains quite a lot in Malaysia. South Africa did really well to be able to get games in that group stage where they went unbeaten. Shortened games. We had 11 over games, 17 over games, sometimes 8 over games. which was really difficult to find any rhythm. I thought South Africa's best player, Kayla Reyneke, didn't have enough time out in the middle to be as impactful with the bat to propel South Africa to really good scores, particularly in that final against India. Granted, India really have a great spin bowling attack. I mean, if you count G. Trisha and Sisodia, they've got really great spinners in their lineup, and it was always going to be difficult for South Africa in conditions where spin was sort of the one that would rule the roost in. But I think nonetheless, it was a great achievement for those young girls to be able to compete in a World Cup, but also go to a final. I mean, I watched the pictures there. It was packed at the Peumas Oval in Kuala Lumpur. To be able to play in that kind of atmosphere as well is a big plus for them, and they'll obviously be heartbroken by losing the final, but they would have gained so much from competing at a World Cup like that.
Yeah, I mean, certainly. What a campaign. And it's like you said, when weather plays a massive part, like it's so difficult to have rhythm.
Yeah.
And somehow, I mean, most of the games, like it wasn't always 20 overs.
Yes.
And again, it then will ask of the squad, if you're playing an 8-over match, you're playing a 10-over match, how quickly can you adjust to the conditions? Because I mean, I keep saying, Malaysia is like Durban on steroids.
Yep.
It literally is so hot,
humid,
then it rains. And like it buckets down.
Yeah.
So it was never going to be easy. And of course, I mean the first ground, what was the name of the ground?
They were in Kuching, the Borneo.
Yeah, when you were there, like you feel that, I mean, probably not your world's best conditions in terms of facilities. I mean, South Africa, the drainage is so good at Supersport Park and all that stuff. You can quickly, it's all those elements that are taking place, but yet they were unbeaten all the way to the final. Yeah. Says a lot about the coaching staff. It says a lot about the group of players. And again, for such a young side, and it's really exciting the work that's been done at under 19 level. Again, I keep saying you can't win a final if you're not in it.
Yep.
And again, if you offer a player a silver medal before the tournament, I think
we'll happily take
some will take it. Yeah. And some might gamble to kind of have a look. But the fact that we got close, and again, I think yes, in the end, it's a thumping because India won with many overs to spare. And really a good performance for India, and we know we can't compare the resources. I think, but again, it speaks a lot about South Africa and finding ways of being in these finals.
Yeah. Champions Trophy. I think that'll be our last point for today. That's around the corner. It's going to be an interesting tournament in Abu Dhabi and in the UAE. In Pakistan and the UAE. Because I must not start with the UAE.
Yeah, because it basically, we all knew what was coming.
Yeah, we all knew that the hybrid model was going to be
the hybrid model was going to come. Man, it's still disappointing.
Yeah,
that the two countries can't find each other for the sake of cricket.
Yeah,
because it's very difficult for me. I don't even know potentially where the final will be held.
Yeah,
if India are in the final, and Pakistan are in the final.
What happens?
The final
then?
is going to be outside of Pakistan. Like, does that? And
no.
Like, it just doesn't sit well. And that's a difficulty of where we are between these two countries. I mean, we know it's beyond sport.
Yeah.
But like, it's those people, politicians, come together and find for the sake of the game.
Yeah.
But it is going to be a short, compact tournament. It's 8 teams, 2 groups.
Yeah.
Really is going to be tough. Every game is on the line.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for South Africa, there's been a couple of injuries leading up to that.
We might not have Miller.
Oh, yeah, he's also injured.
We might not have Miller.
Because we'll only be talking about the fast bowlers that are injured. Fast bowlers are injured.
So, depending on how the groin holds up.
Hey, and guys, I don't want injured players going to World Cup. Or if you are injured, stay at home.
Yeah.
let's rather take the next guy and we'll deal. But let's not take a half-baked guy.
Yeah.
We've done it in the past.
Yeah.
Where we're taking half-baked guys.
Gerald is under surveillance also.
Nandre's out.
Nandre is out.
Lazard is out.
Lazard is out.
We decided to leave Kwena.
Yeah. Nokia is out.
Nokia is out.
Who else is out?
We better wrap KG because we might as well not go if KG is injured. I see.
Yeah, let's just withdraw from the whole tournament.
No. Just give it to someone else.
Yeah. So we might not have David Miller actually because, well, I know the official reason why he hasn't been playing for the Power Royals in the past 2 or 3 games is because also a newborn baby.
Oh, okay.
Yes, newborn baby.
Yeah,
newborn baby. So congrats to David and Camilla Miller, newborn baby there. But also he's struggling with a groin injury. So perhaps the birth of the baby really
bought him time.
Bought him a bit of time, coincided with trying to get him recovered and fresh to be able to go to
So
Pakistan.
Actually forgot not only Joe Root, David Miller, and now Dinesh Karthik has to basically
be the guy.
Yeah. Okay. I still say, like, for me, any guy that is not 100% should not be in the flight. We have such a tough group, and I think we need to back the talent that is in South Africa, and back guys who've got skill to play in those conditions in Pakistan. It might be your mid to lowish wickets, and we need to find guys that can replicate those skill sets in those conditions. And of course, hopefully, we start well. We know if we start with a loss, it's basically you're going to be chasing really hard in that group.
On the point of not taking guys that are 100% fit, I'm of the opinion that maybe we can rule Gerald Coetzee out of the tournament.
It's not even a...
Like, it shouldn't be a case of
How many injuries has he had this season?
Yeah, a lot.
It's been a stop-start, unfortunately, for him. He just needs to settle down. Make sure that he's... look at the world of good it's done for Marco Jansen.
Yep. A conditioning block.
Had a conditioning block, completely off for a couple of months. Literally looked after himself. He's come back stronger.
Phased back into...
Bowling quicker. And these are the important things. And I think, again, rather trust the next guy. Rather than thinking, trust the next guy. And that's why the nice part about this period is that we had the SA20. And yes, I know there's ICC windows in terms of putting a team forward. I would have loved if obviously it fell after the SA20 period, where now you've got
a bit of time to
recover. Time to have looked at who's in form, who's done really well, and then you pick the squad. But in terms of the next now, or the replacements, it's pretty clear what the coach would have been looking at. You're looking at guys who are actually doing well in the SA20, and hopefully they can take that forward.
Because for me, obviously Kwena's not in that official Champions League Champions trophies.
Why?
No apparent reason really. Like, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't.
So if guys like Gerald officially can't go to the tournament, Kwena can come in. Corbin Bosch has done really well to be able to get the recall. He's played one day international game so far. He's played a test match so far. So he's been bowling really well for MI Cape Town as well in the SA20. So there are guys that have been in the system that can still go in and replace whoever is not fit enough.
I think there's a reason why they've delayed announcing that replacement, right? It's either they're waiting
for him to recover,
Gerald to recover, or they want to see a little bit more from one or two guys.
Outside of who you mentioned.
Maybe like you said, a Bosch, maybe being a guy that they're having a look at, especially considering, a Gerald would have batted a bit, and maybe they're looking at a Bosch as well, someone who also kind of fills that similar role. So that's why for me, I said originally Kwena should have been it, and not trying to replace someone young, left armour, quick. Not a lot of people maybe have faced him on those Pakistani conditions. Yes, he's young, he's inexperienced, but why not? And like, we've tried and tested, it hasn't worked.
Maybe isn't it a case of maybe he's played a lot of cricket in this period?
Well, he's had a break within the Paul Royal side, which I think was important as well, where he got given a break. Because, I mean, since that test match at Newlands, the New Year's test, he's actually just been playing. And I think at some point when Keith Dudgeon came into the side, kind of gave him some time off. You felt that at some point they were targeting him as well. And there was a moment as well, which was interesting for him and Faf, which I love it. I think, I mean, I love his celebration. I really like a young 18-year-old who is confident and has got his own celebration. He's not scared to show people. And I think there's people there, you start looking at negative things. Oh, he's arrogant. No, I'm going to talk about the celebration part. But like, Kandi, what do you want the boy to do? Because there's a better, Loandre is also showing his own confidence and his own swagger, whatever. So what is a bowler supposed to do? You know, so yes, he needs to learn. Maybe, for example, me, if I'm bowling to an international bowler, a batter, there's not much that I need to say to that guy, because that guy,
he's done it.
He's done it. You know, but I think with time, you'll learn to find where that line is. And he's allowed, he's 18 for a reason.
To explore.
You know, and I think sometimes we're quick to have a go at these kids, and we take away their personality as well. And I think this game, especially in South Africa, we need some personalities. Guys who are backing themselves.
And drawn to fans.
And that's why, 100%. That's why Australia are always, you know, good with their fast bowlers. It's they've got that personality. Now, some time because
he needs to be
so I enjoyed that, and I just think obviously he'll learn and try to find the balance with what the words that he said and all that stuff.
Eventual champions trophy. We got to pick.
Am I or Paul Royals?
No, not for SA20.
Oh, and Diselap, hey, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. We can't take it away from the Aussies. India. Grand. Pakistan is weird because
you never know which Pakistan
but they're home. But I mean, Australia. I'm not sure what England we're going to get under Brendan McCullum. Can't take away India.
South Africa. Why are you not mentioning South Africa?
No, I think it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
And we've got Afghanistan in our group.
And the injuries are not helping.
The injuries are not helping.
So I'll say Australia. Australia.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think they've got enough of a settled group to be able to go World Cup and then Champions Trophy in those kind of conditions.
Because it's weird, the World Cups generally, the subcontinent side, you kind of expect them to do, and then like it's the Senna guys who end up doing well. So possibly I'm going to give it to
Australia.
All right.
Okay. Nons?
Yours?
I did say Australia, but I might have to change. I'm going to be patriotic. I'm going to be patriotic and say South Africa.
You're thinking with your heart or your head? Right
I'm thinking with my heart now. And I'm going to say South Africa will get past the injuries that they have. They'll get past the issues against spin. Khazanfar is going to be a problem. Noor is going to be a problem. Rashid Khan is going to be a problem. Mujib is going to be a problem.
Mujib is not going.
Mujib is not going. Is it Khazanfar?
Yeah, Mujib is not in the
Afghan squad.
Yeah.
It's Khazanfar and Rashid.
Rashid. Yeah.
So I'm going to say South Africa is going to recover from all those challenges and win the Champions Trophy.
We've won that trophy before, but no one knows. It's in secret.
So
it's our only major. We've won it. What's the Kenyan?
Yeah, that would have been 90.
What's the Kenyan?
Yeah. Mackie played in that.
He's got a trophy now.
He's got a trophy now. So Nons, thank you very much. We're
looking forward to the playoffs week.
Tuesday,
Wednesday, Thursday, and then the big one. At the Bull Ring. DP World Wonders.
Yeah. Get If you don't have tickets, don't ask us tickets. We don't have nuts. If we aren't going, it's because we don't have tickets. We're going to watch it home.
It's accreditation.
Sound being accreditation, it depends. I don't know, but that's now I'm a ticket.
Yeah, it's the final week of the Betway SA20. Yeah, final. DPO Wanderers. Yeah. Again, it's going to be a hell of a day. As long as the weather stays there, I think it will be quite an exciting final.
Yeah. Right. Subscribe, like, comment, do all the things that you need to do on this video.
It's for 5,000 followers.
Thank you.
Update close to 2, ne?
So we are aiming for 5,000.
5,000 by the end of the year.
Yeah.
But this class is
putting the blame on you.
You guys. Thank you.
So thank you so much for the support. Back for another big year. We've got so many things that are lined up, including dropping a nice documentary on the landscape of domestic cricket in South Africa. That'll drop just before the 50 over competition starts in about 2 weeks' time. Yeah, a week's time. 15th of Feb. Yeah, so that's what we want to do. That's very exciting. We spoke to so many great role players in South African cricket that have given us a great perspective on what the landscape of domestic cricket is in the country. So that's something that you can look forward to if you're a cricket lover and an all-rounders SA lover. You will definitely enjoy that. Until next time, thank you very much.